Kevin Durant, before he left, was easily playing some of the best basketball of his life. In his last 20 games, he was averaging 30 on like all-time type of splits. This man is 34, not too far removed from an Achilles tear, by the way. LeBron, since turning 38, is averaging damn near a 35-point triple-double. Now, I won't lie, kind of like last year at the beginning of the year, when the season first started, I thought Father Time was kind of catching up to LeBron. But then after seeing him do this and definitely this, I realized, no, it just takes him a little bit of time to get into full form now. He's still unstoppable once he's there. These two were set to play November 13th. It didn't happen. These two are set to play January 30th next Monday, and it's not going to happen. Last year, I begged Adam Silver to make this game the first game of the season because we haven't seen it in 5 years now. So once again, Adam Silver, I beg you, for the 2024 season, please make the Lakers and whatever team Kevin Durant is playing on the first game of the season. Basketball needs it. Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The NFL regular season is finally over, which means the playoffs is here. And I'm teaming up with DraftKings to give new customers an offer you really can't pass up, especially if you know your sports like I think I do. Get this, bro. All new customers have to do is sign up using my promo code Swishout. Bet just $5 on any one of your favorite playoff bets and instantly receive $200 in bonus bets. If you happen to be confident in your team, like I know I wasn't playing without Lamar Jackson last weekend, you can combine multiple bets from the same game parlays for a much bigger payout. Also, if you happen to be in a state where sports betting is not yet available, they still have you covered. Try DraftKings Daily Fantasy, where you can still get in on much of the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use promo code SWISHOUT, bet $5 on any one of your favorite NFL playoff teams, and give yourself a real shot today.
Well, first of all, Malika, I've been covering the NBA since '99. I've been to a lot of these media days, and this was the most dour, the saddest media day that I have ever attended. It felt more like a funeral.
The Phoenix Suns have legitimately fallen off from that short-lived top of the mountain. Last year, after starting 1-3, that team went on an 18-game winning streak, and at this exact same date last year, January 23rd, they were 36-9. This season, after starting out 8-3 near the top of the conference, they've lost more in a 37-game window than they lost all last year. Just to show you how bad they've been in that window, that's near the bottom of the West in wins. Just to take it a step further, in point differential, that's at the bottom of the West with two teams that's literally tanking. Now, the main reason for all of this is after being one of the healthiest teams for the last 2 years, they've become one of the more injured teams this year. Devin Booker has missed significant time. Look at how bad they've been without him. Chris Paul, Cam Johnson got injured. Jay Crowder doesn't want to play for him no more. Neither does DeAndre Ayton. And of course, that's going to cause them to be where they are right now. Last year, players got injured, but it wasn't simultaneously, so they were still able to hold on. DeAndre Ayton missed 24 games. They won 18 of them. Devin Booker missed 14 games. They won 8 of them. Chris Paul missed 17 games. They won 11 of them. They went from this next man up type of machine last year that was top 5 offensively and defensively to now just looking like a bunch of dysfunction. They've lost 5 games by 25 points plus this year. That's more than Houston, who's at the bottom of the West, and tied with Detroit, who's at the bottom of the East. The Rudy Gobert Timberwolves trade is an absolute bust. We knew it before the season even started. Even if you try to key in on his defense, all that is cool, but you don't trade all those players and assets for a guy with no offensive bag. You just don't. You lost multiple key rotational players that made you a lot of what you were last year and a chunk of your future for a player that shoots 80% of his shots at the rim, 40% are dunks. They went from having some of the best spacing all last year with Cat being able to stretch the floor as a center to now looking like an odd offense anytime Rudy Gobert is really on the floor. Just to show you the statistical difference with what they had last year with Cat and what they have now with Rudy Gobert. Last year, they led the league in what would be considered open field goal attempts, 4 to 6 feet of spacing. This year, they've dropped to near the middle of the pack. I know Cat is gone, but damn, this man is on a $200 million contract. And that split offensive value versus defensive value that he brings is just not ideal in 2023. They're still the best offensive team when he's not on the court and the worst when he's on the court. Yes, we can see his defensive value and his production, but it's coming at the expense of what used to be a flourishing offense. So in essence, you traded multiple pieces and multiple future assets for a 30-year-old liability offensively on arguably the worst contract in the sport. That's crazy. And speaking of worst contracts in the sport, Rudy Gobert is in competition with that guy in Brooklyn, Ben Simmons. I know he played a little bit better since my last video on him, but he's still been a massive disappointment if you ask me. I don't care how great the Nets have been playing in the regular season. Yeah, they won all those games, 18 out of their last 20 with KD. As long as they have Ben Simmons, the passive, non-aggressive, overcompensating defender that still can't hit free throws, they're not winning anything. Nick Claxton is a young player who's taken a massive leap defensively, so I'll give him a pass. He's the 440th best free throw shooter in the league. Ben Simmons is the 446th. How is that even possible? You can't have two players playing significant minutes and being two of your best defenders on your team, also being two of the worst free throw shooters in the league. It just won't work in the playoffs. He's lost so much confidence offensively that he touches the ball less than Nick Claxton. He doesn't even think about shooting or attacking the rim anymore. He's averaging 25% from the free throw line in his last 17 games, and he plays great defense, but he overcompensates, and that's why he's averaging the 5th most fouls a night. To me, he's been a big disappointment this season. The Warriors are still the most dangerous team in the West if they get in the playoffs, in my opinion. When they get in the playoffs, they're going to make the playoffs. But the development of their young pieces, specifically James Wiseman, the highest pick they've had in 25 years, has been a massive disappointment. Wiseman hasn't played a game with that team since December 28th. He hasn't played over 20 minutes in over a month. He was supposed to be that big that they never had, but they just can't find minutes for him because he just doesn't fit on that team. I hate it for him, but he's literally been the worst player on the team when he's on the floor. If I was the Warriors, I would look to shop this man immediately before he loses his value. I kind of compare it to the Markelle Fultz situation in Philly when he just couldn't shoot and he couldn't stay healthy. Get the most out of his value before it completely depletes. James Wiseman doesn't fit. Even the rest of their young pieces, Kuminga, Moses Moody, Steve Kerr clearly doesn't trust them that much. And you have the big three still playing at a high level, so maximize that championship window. And lastly, the Atlanta Hawks. When they traded for DeJounte Murray, it just seemed like the most ideal trade for both parties. Trae Young had by far the worst playoffs of any player all last year, and it was mainly because he was the only player that can create his own shot, and Miami just swallowed him up. Pause. Getting another ball handler that can also create his own shot and create for others and defend, it seemed like the perfect mesh, but it just hasn't gone smooth this year. With the evolution of the East at the top and with how they're currently constructed, they just don't have enough to contend. DeJounte Murray is playing better than I even thought he would. But with that, Trae Young is having his most inefficient year since he was a rookie. So all that playing off ball stuff is actually going to make him more efficient. It hasn't panned out. John Collins, since his third year and every single year since then, we keep putting him in these trade rumors. He's regressed every single year, and he's having his most inefficient year of his career. Losing Kevin Huerter, I never thought he'd be that important to a team, but look at what he's done to Sacramento's offense since being there, and look at Atlanta's. Last year, they were the second best three-point shooting team in the league. This year, since losing him, they're in the 20s. Nate McMillan and Trae Young, they've had their differences, and that's been publicized. DeAndre Hunter, he's been much better than last year, but it's still not quite enough. Bogdanovich, he played great on the first year of that big contract, helping them get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But since then, he's kind of regressed a bit, and this year he's been injured and a little bit more inefficient, which is exactly what they don't need, being so weak with their wings. So for DeJounte Murray and the Hawks, I don't think he'd leave. He seems like a real loyal dude, especially watching that All the Smoke podcast. But he is on the last year of an expiring contract, and he is close to Kawhi, and Kawhi did that. So you better make him happy. And also, and I want to mention this before I leave, another disappointment this season has been a lot of injuries to key teams. Like Kawhi Leonard has been gone for a good amount of time. Paul George, Stephen Curry was out for a month. Anthony Davis was out as soon as he started playing great. Zion Williamson has been out. Brandon Ingram has been out. James Harden was out for a month. Chris Middleton has only played 7 games. Like a lot of the big teams that we were excited to watch has missed big stars. And to me, that's taken a little bit of the juice out of such a highly anticipated season. If you guys like this video, I forgot to mention Kevin Durant too. As soon as they got hot, Kevin Durant got hurt. I just made a video about that. If you like this video, follow my social media sites, guys. Turn on post notifications. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.